Alright, so this is my one and only finished coloring book. It's Mermaids and Friends by Chrstin GloriousInk. And yeah, the technique I've mostly used here is water-based markers diluted with water. So I'll just show you a bit quickly here. So if you just scribble, and it takes a certain kind of paper, and I'm quite sure that this is some watercolor paper in this book, but you just scribble and then you can take water, a water brush, and you see it behaves sort of like as if it were a watercolor pencil, which is like yeah, really cool, and it doesn't bleed through the paper, and like it's just the best in my opinion, and you can get the cool textures and everything. So yeah, that's just yeah, the best. And so yeah, that's mostly what I've used. And I got it in 2019 and finished it in April this year in 2021. And yeah, so let's get into it, right? I like how she turned out, I like the colors. Oh, and there's a silent flip through as well if you don't like to listen to me babbling. I like her a lot. She was inspired, the colors were inspired by coloring with V. I think she uses a lot of this green and a bit of grey and then this dirty pink. I love that. And I really like how she turned out. Yeah. This is one of the designs that I wouldn't normally have colored. So what I learned in completing this book is that, I mean, at least for me, there's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 designs in this book that I wouldn't normally have colored. But you know, you persevere and you just do them. And the same goes for finished pages. Not all of them I love, but yeah. I like her a lot though. She's done with actual watercolors, and she has a lot of Wink of Stella in the background and in her eyes. I like that she's got like galaxies in her eyes. So yeah. These two were a lot of fun. She was, I think, the first one I did in this water-based marker technique. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I immediately did like a lot of... I immediately did more. And this one was a bit of a struggle with the skin. I like how it is now, but I like had to go in with pencils and work on it. And pencils on this paper, at least for me, don't really work because the paper is too smooth. Maybe Prismacolors work better, but at least for Polychromos it's too smooth. And yeah, I like her. I like the idea of like a mossy moon. I like that I came up with that. Oh, I don't like her, and she was a struggle the whole way because of these bubbles. And I still don't like how the bubbles turned out, but I mean, it's done. And she has a lot of stickles and Wink of Stella on her tail and then on all her jewelry. I like her. This was a quick one. This one was, it's interesting with a green skin. I like that. She is one of my favorites. Absolutely adore the colors and the simplicity of it. And she is not. I mean, you can almost say that for me, when I like a picture, I don't feel like I need to add stickles or Wink of Stella. But when I don't like a picture, I'm like, okay, stickles will solve this. Yeah. She was a struggle. I tried to make her into a short-haired Ariel, but I think I like returned to this one like, I don't know, 3 to 5 times. And the background especially has gone through different stages. At first I think it was like just this color and just small, like really minimalistic background, but then it needed more, and yeah. She was a struggle is what I'm saying. And like these red parts in her tail to marry it to the hair, and then darkening up the hair. I know I did that in one of the stages of trying to fix it. Yeah, so that's how it goes. Oh, and then there's this one. So anyone who's ever used markers can tell you that you're not supposed to trust the color of the cap. and either have like a color chart or like scribble a bit somewhere to see what color it is. And I didn't do that, which is like a big no-no. And then also, I didn't do that for a marker I wanted to use on the skin, which is like, you know, next level of horribleness. And also, I started the skin not on like her leg or another discrete place. No, I started the skin in the center of her face. So it was like, you know, I just started coloring, and you have to go quite fast if you want the marker to not see the strokes when you use this technique. I'll show you that in some video in the future sometime. But anyway, so I was like starting, and the color came out of the marker, and I was like, oh my shit, I need to continue anyway. And so she's this really hot pink fairy. But I think it works like, I saved it with using these dark colors in the background, I think. And yeah, and I usually try to make pictures match in like a double spread, and not like really exactly. So this was colored a lot later, and I didn't even know which markers were in this page, but like, you know, just trying to find leaves that kind of work with these leaves, and using like a similar pink in the background here to marry it. And I like doing that. Yeah, this was done with watercolors. And yeah, it was on a trip to Skopje in Macedonia. I took with me this book and just a small set of watercolors. I think it were like this or something. And a water brush. And that was all I had with me in like coloring supplies and stuff. So that was a fun week. Or weekend. But yeah, this was the last picture I did in this book. It was a body color. And I remember I started with the background, and I hated it. I hated like using, and I was like, oh no, what have I done on the last picture in the book? You know, that this is supposed to be my victory lap, and then I go and, but I like it in the end. So that's good. And I know, like, for example, her wings also, I had to save it a bit. And that's a good thing with this paper also. You can, like, if you put a color down that you don't like, you can just wet it again and then dot it with paper, and you can sort of pick it up. And yeah. Oh, and talking about picking up color, it's the same technique here on her tail. So this is like a layer. This is both of them are water-based markers diluted with water. But this is like if you do a layer with the water-based marker diluted with water. Oh my god, I need to find a better name for that technique. But yeah, so and you let it dry, and then you can go and make like small drops of water on her tail or wherever you want it. I think I have some on her face as well. And then you can just pick them up, and you get this really cool effect of, or I like it a lot. I use it for scales. This is my favorite. Either her or her are my favorites in here. And this is the first one I did with like this crazy makeup thing going on. It's an obsession I have right now. Every portrait I color, I want to give them crazy makeup. And it was inspired by all these wonderful makeup artists, both on Pinterest and Instagram. And yeah, I like her a lot. And she is also fun. I did her later, and I remember I was listening to Good Omens when I did it. You know, it's like when you look at a picture and you remember exactly what you were feeling or doing. Yeah, it's fun. And yeah, I like her a lot. She was also in that watercolor when I was in Skopje. And I don't like. I know I've touched her up a lot of times also, and I still don't like her, but these two I do like a lot. And yeah, this making the fish glow, I've seen other people do that as well. And I don't know if I did it before I saw that, or if I was subconsciously inspired, or I don't know. But I like her a lot, and I like her as well. This is the most horrible page in the book, in my opinion. It's like a divider between two different books, actually. And I thought I would just give it like a rainbow wash, and then I used Posca to bring out the designs again. And I hate it. I hate it. But I like her. And she was inspired by these rainbow colors here. So, I mean, okay, sure, something good came out of it. I think because I like have a difficult relationship with rainbow palettes in my coloring book pages. But I think what saves this palette for me is the brown. The brown and the fact that the pink in her hair is a bit of a like dirty pink, and the fact that there's a lot of green in the background. I don't know, I like that one, and I usually don't like rainbow palettes, so yeah, I don't know. These two were quite quick ones. This was one of the first one I did in that in the technique of water-based markers diluted with water, and yeah. Her I don't like. She's too rainbowy for me and a bit too pale, but I like her a lot, and I like yeah, I like her a lot. I know it's really pale and like it's really discreet colors, but I like that a lot. And I think it's sorry, let me just okay, but oh, it was interesting when I was coloring and I was like, okay, what are these things? Is it like either wings or armpit hair? I mean, let's not judge, you know, it's cold up in the Arctic. But yeah. And this was the first one I did in this book. So this I used a lot of different mediums to try to get to know the paper. And it's like ink tints, because that's my go-to sort of. And then it's Lyra water crayons and a lot of polychromos, and you can see a lot of different media. And I didn't figure out the water-based marker thing until later. So yeah, as I said before, like the pencils are quite of a struggle on this paper because it's too smooth, and for me at least. So at first I was a bit disappointed in the paper, but then I found out the wonderfulness that is the water-based marker diluted with water technique, and I was sold. And yeah, she was fun. I love her. I love the blue, I love the brown and the pink. I just love that. Love that. I love those colors. And yeah, she is what it is. But I like her hat. I like her, like I like the designs in gold on her hat. Yeah, and she was fun. And it's one of my favorite as well. And she is also nice. And that's it. That's this coloring book. It's done. I have another coloring book that I'm close to finishing, and it's Sagor och Sägner. I have like 6 pages left, but I'm not forcing myself to finish it in this year, so I don't know when it will be finished. It sort of depends a bit, because like for me it's the last step is always the most difficult. So in coloring, that's the last pictures in the book, but not difficult, just intimidating, because then it's done. And yeah, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed.